Patriots Nation, the energy in Foxborough feels different today. There's smoke in the defensive market, a potential return that could flip a switch, a rookie who beats the sun to the stadium to prove he belongs, and a pass rusher on the verge of silencing a lot of doubt. I know it sounds dramatic, but the pieces might click faster than you think. There's backstage noise, tough decisions coming, and an opportunity nobody saw. Miss the timing, and you'll be left behind. You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. While plenty of people are still arguing about the scoreboard from the last game, a quiet move on the defensive market could change everything in Foxborough, and it's not empty rumor. 3 weeks into the season, the Houston Texans released C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a safety/nickel hybrid with heat-seeking instincts and real ball skills. The decision, confirmed across official channels, opened a rare window, a proven playmaker hitting the street for any team ready to act. For a club that needs to jack up takeaways and shorten defensive time on the field, the opportunity is real. First, the context. Gardner-Johnson arrived in Houston via a March trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, a deal that involved O.L. Kenyon Green and a 2026 pick adjustment. The marriage lasted 3 games. Reports pointed to internal noise and a role fit that never clicked in DeMeco Ryans' system, something the staff effectively acknowledged in justifying the cut. The message was clear: unit over resume. Result: a high-impact defender on the street, earlier than the league's usual calendar would suggest. There's also a rules wrinkle that changes the board. Under the NFL's reacquisition of traded player bylaw, some interpretations suggest the Eagles couldn't immediately bring him back because he didn't log 4 games with Houston. Other reporting indicates Philadelphia might still be able to re-sign him under certain conditions. In practical terms, it complicates, not necessarily eliminates, a quick reunion, which keeps the door open for outside bidders over the next 24 to 72 hours. Why does this map to New England? Because the safety room changed on the eve of Week 1, when the Patriots moved on from Jabril Peppers. Since then, a heavier workload has fallen on Jalen Hawkins and rookie Craig Woodson, with Kyle Duggar toggling between deep and box, a functional arrangement, but thin when the plan demands disguise in sub-packages. Add the anticipation around Christian Gonzalez's return to full action, and the urgency becomes obvious. The rotation needs one more chess piece to multiply looks without creating leaks. Inside a Mike Vrabel blueprint, CJ fits as a force multiplier. In Big Nickel, you can keep Hawkins and Woodson on the field and free up Duggar to get more physical downhill, compressing flats and shallow zones. In traditional nickel, he can live in the slot to erase slants and overs, blitz with timing, and play off late rotations that muddy pre-snap pictures for mobile AFC quarterbacks. That aligns with the identity New England is trying to restore: conceal intentions, force mistakes, flip the field with opportunism. A DB who slides between robber, post, and nickel gives the coordinator a broader menu of simulated pressures and post-snap swaps, exactly what's missing when the secondary becomes a target on long downs. There are obstacles, of course. Several teams chasing a slot/safety hybrid will make calls, and his strong personality means you need a clear role and a locker room that embraces it. From a cap standpoint, a low-risk structure, modest base plus incentives for snaps and takeaways preserves flexibility for the trade deadline. To date, there's no public sign of a formal New England offer. Even so, the need-timing-fit combination is hard to ignore. If the front office feels the defense needs a jolt of confidence, the time is now, because this window rarely stays open for long. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. If there's one name Patriots fans are counting the minutes to see back on the field, it's Christian Gonzalez. The breakout rookie from 2023, who played only 4 games before a shoulder injury, has been battling a hamstring issue since training camp. And as the defense strains to keep its footing against increasingly aggressive quarterbacks, the question keeps echoing: when will Gonzalez return to anchor the secondary? Mike Vrabel, as direct as ever, shed light on the process. For him, medical clearance alone isn't enough. He runs through 3 questions: can the player protect himself? Can he execute at the standard the team demands and that he demands of himself? And is there a risk of making it worse? Only when all 3 are yes does the green light appear. It sounds simple, but in football, every snap can carry the weight of a season. Fans feel the difference already. Without Gonzalez, the defense loses length, lateral speed, and the ability to isolate elite receivers. The consequence is obvious: overtaxed safeties, linebackers exposed in coverage, and opposing coordinators hunting matchups. And when you remember he was a first-round pick who followed the brief 2023 cameo with a full 2024 showing, 16 games, 59 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a fumble return touchdown, the absence hits even harder. His return isn't just about numbers, it's about identity. Vrabel hammered home the point: your best players have to be on the field to give you a chance to win. Gonzalez isn't just another piece, he's one of those players who changes the opponent's alignment. When he's out there, quarterbacks think twice before testing his side, which gives the defense freedom to be more aggressive elsewhere. It's the invisible effect that flips the entire dynamic. The buzz for this week builds with every practice. There are signs of progress, but caution is still the guiding word. The fan base swings between anxiety and hope. Some want the team to wait until he's truly 100%, avoiding a setback that could undercut the season. Others are begging for urgency, knowing that without Gonzalez, facing attacks like Buffalo, Kansas City, or even Miami becomes a steep climb. It's the classic dilemma: long-term safety or short-term risk to keep the season alive. You can't ignore the history either. Gonzalez already lost most of his debut season, and watching a young cornerstone stuck on the sideline is frustrating. But the chance of getting him back now in September and letting him find competitive rhythm could be the push the defense needs. At a minimum, his presence redistributes roles and strengthens depth, allowing Carlton Davis III and the safeties to operate on more favorable terms. The suspense lingers. Will Gonzalez lace them up this week, or will everyone's patience be tested a bit longer? Patriots Nation holds its breath because the line between a competitive team and one paddling against the current might be defined by a single name. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. Picture a rookie who wakes up before sunrise, crosses an empty Gillette Stadium lot, and sits beside his position coach just to absorb every detail of the playbook. That's Keon White, a wide receiver who might have arrived as an undrafted long shot but carries a veteran's mentality. He walks in with Mac Hollins at 5:50 a.m., grabs a notebook, writes his goals in the upper right corner, and only then starts jotting down the day's meeting slides. You can't buy that kind of discipline, it's in the DNA. Since his Eastern Washington days, Kism has lived by goals. He once wrote NFL, All-American, Walter Payton, legend. He checked off part of that list. After signing with the Patriots, he updated it to NFL, 53 Monroe, legend. Now it reads 46, the number for game day availability. He knows he's still the sixth name on the depth chart behind veterans and draft picks, but he refuses to be just a practice body. The obsession to improve screams from every detail. Ironically, he wasn't an early starter in football. His father, a former Marine, held him back until 8th grade. Before that, the kid played everything: baseball, basketball, track, even soccer. He built coordination, stamina, and most importantly, the habit of never turning off. When he finally strapped on a helmet, the response was immediate. First play, a wheel route, a one-handed grab, touchdown. Destiny felt scripted. What impresses people around him is that Kism doesn't want shortcuts. He trains to the limit and constantly asks how to get better. Former receiver Michael Bumpus, who trained him in high school, often says his biggest career regret was not staying earlier, longer, more prepared. Kism listened and decided not to repeat that mistake. He shows up first, leaves last, and even when tired, he hunts for more reps. He's the guy who makes everyone a little uncomfortable because he refuses to settle. That's where Patriots fans should lean in. This organization has always valued that mentality. Players who won't quit, who master the system, who do the dirty work. Think Edelman, Welker, even Troy Brown. None started as stars, but all shared that hunger. Kism may not be the tallest or the fastest, yet his clean routes and dependable hands are already turning heads in closed practices. If he earns a real shot on the 48-man game day roster, don't be surprised if he grabs it like it's the last pass of his life. Stories like this hit fans because they reveal the human side of the NFL. The headlines often fixate on big contracts and first-round stars. But when a guy wakes up at 5 a.m., rewrites goals like a student, and treats every practice like a final, it's impossible not to root for him. That's the kind of narrative that ties a fan base to its team. And while plenty of folks obsess over box scores, Keon III keeps proving that character and discipline can be as decisive as raw talent. The only question is, how long until that mentality earns real snaps on game day? And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. If there was a name that looked ready to explode this training camp, it was Keon White. The third-year edge flashed explosion, violent hands, and seemed to have found his sweet spot settling on the outside. Then, the script flipped. Late in camp, he lost the starting job to Clovan Chasson, and the first weeks offered a near ghost: just 42 combined snaps over 2 games, 0 pressures, 0 impact. To many fans, it felt like the beginning of the end. Take a breath. Behind the scenes, that's not the case. White battled physical issues, lost rhythm and conditioning, and now, finally healthy, he's being reshaped into the core plan again. Outside linebackers coach Mike Smith spelled it out. He sees Keon as a starter, even if he isn't out there yet with KC or Harold Landry. Once the game slows down for him and he stacks reps, his interior rush gift can resurface. It's a rare vote of confidence in impatient times. Here's the intrigue for the fan base. If White really pops, he changes the entire rotation. Chasson and Landry are solid, but neither brings the blend of strength and inside-out versatility Keon flashed in college and early as a pro. He can kick inside on pass downs, hunt mismatches on slower guards, and give the scheme flexibility to generate pressure without blitzing every other snap. Rabel and Smith know the defense can't live on Duggar, Gonzalez and the secondary holding up forever. Front four disruption is the gear that turns the whole machine. And in New England, fans expect difference makers. White was a second-round pick for a reason: to crush pockets, speed up quarterback reads, and buy the coverage unit the half-beat it needs to disguise and close. The fan base is split. Some have run out of patience and see a career stuck in neutral. Others point out that trench players often need 3 or 4 seasons to lock in. There are Patriots precedents, Dietrich Wise Jr., for example, who became pillars after a longer runway. The question is whether Keon will seize this opening or let Chasson cement the role for good. That's the suspense. If White clicks, the defense gains depth and unpredictability. If not, the club may have to shop for pass rush help. Mid-season patience is short. The next few games won't just define his immediate future, they could shape the arc of the entire edge rotation. And now, with all these pieces on the board, a market opportunity, a long-awaited return, an obsessive rookie, and an edge at a crossroads, which story truly changes the season's destiny? Patriots Nation, we watched the whole board shift today, a rare opening on the defensive market, the tense wait for Christian Gonzalez, Efton Chisholm III's quiet discipline, and Keon White's turning point. If the front office pounces on the right opportunity, if Gonzalez returns on point, and if Chisholm and White translate sweat into productive snaps, the defense levels up and the locker room gains a voice. Now I want to hear you, which piece is the most decisive to flip the season? Comment, share, send it to that friend who doubted and hit subscribe. Tomorrow we're back and it might be historic.